Hello everyone, this is James Marzotto from Compass Renewable Energy Consulting, here today at the Grand Victorian Convention Centre in Mississauga, Ontario. We're at a Canadian manufacturers and exporters event today. Compass's Jim MacDougall spoke a bit to alternative energy storage solutions and solar net metering, what the economics are like now and how you, an energy consumer, can implement these technologies in your business, whether it's a factory, cold storage, shopping mall. So hope you enjoy this speech, the talk. I know I did, learned a lot too from the other speakers today. Hope you enjoy the video.
As an industrial customer, as a manufacturer, exporter, whatever line of business you're in, you have to manage your facilities and you have to manage your electricity bills within your facilities. You need information, you need data, you need a baseline, right, of understanding what you're doing today. And you need to understand from what your current data tells you what options you have and what each of those options can do for you. And again, you're going to see a couple of slides that I prepared, but they speak to the kind of considerations around what I do at my facility. Like what can I do at my plant? The main observation that we've made globally is that costs are decreasing and they're continuing to decrease and they're continuing to decline. Efficiencies are continuing to improve. So the unit costs of energy, and this comes back to make it myself and to assess whether that option is available for me, is becoming more and more attractive. The bullet points, of course, have a number of baseline assumptions that go into them, but in general, at Compass, what we're working with a number of property management level clients on, it's rooftop solar for the most part, but given current electricity prices, given current solar prices, given current performance, the connection challenges onto the grid, negotiation with the LDCs, that the IRR for the customer is a 15% ballpark, which generally represents like a 6 to 9 year payback. And so there's some reasonable economics around self-generation, local generation for renewable solar power, but it's always competing with other business decisions that your enterprise will be looking at, right? So again, stacking what options are available and which ones seem the most attractive and which ones align with your short-term, medium-term, long-term objectives. The other one that we've experienced in talking to customers is there's a big concern around, this new technology, is it going to work? Right? And many people know, especially the guys around the room, that solar technology is not new. It's been in use for decades, and it's just becoming, as I said, more and more cost-effective, more and more efficient, and more present, right, in our certainly in Ontario and other parts of Canada. It's becoming more and more readily available and visible. And the final one up there I'll leave with is there are again, availability of capital. Who's going to put their money up? Is it mine? Is it somebody else's? We'll see that both between storage technology solutions and solar technology solutions, there are parties who are willing to own the assets. They recognize that we want to manufacture auto parts, or we want to manufacture metals, or we want to manufacture what it is we do. We don't necessarily want to own and operate these solar facilities. So there are structures that are available to allow for third parties to manage and invest in these assets. The other kind of price trend that I would agree with Ryan is it's a couple years behind, but it appears that the slope of the curve is steeper than solar. I mean, depending on what your time frame is, but lithium-ion battery storage technology is again continuing to decrease in cost year over year, and we're seeing in Arizona, as an example, we're seeing battery plus solar is beating out natural gas for the next kind of central generation plant. So there's a recognition that it's not just an environmental imperative that's driving us in this direction, that the economics are driving the decisions of regulators and decisions of customers that this technology works for me and it makes sense. At the customer level, though, at the the manufacturing operation, the other justifications and rationales that we're hearing from customers is that they want to have the on-site reliability, and we heard earlier about addressing power quality, that the short-term interruptions or the voltage sags or whatever the site-specific grid challenges are that are impacting the operation at that plant, that they can't afford. They can't afford to have the number we heard this morning was 15 voltage events or 15 power quality events a year. That's just, if each one costs $100,000, again was the number thrown around. If each of the events is costing $100,000 times 10 or 15, that's millions of dollars over time. So battery technology is offering, I'll start with the peak demand reduction. Again, currently focused on the Industrial Conservation Initiative for ICI, for Class A customers. I think we heard this morning that that's going to evolve in some manner, to be determined. However, battery storage reduces peaks, right? So that'll currently has a certain economic value associated with it. It'll have a different economic value associated with it. If we talked at this conference next year, there'd be a different, business case, a different model, a different, perhaps a different rationale for where the value associated with battery storage can assist a customer in reducing costs. Reliability, power quality, talked about that, but just those can be integrated into and built into the design of the we'll call it the microgrid, but the system on site that will benefit the customer and save money, again, depending on the specific circumstances and the specific value of reliability to that customer. Resiliency and market revenue. Terry Young spoke to this to some extent, that the existence of battery storage at site has a value, and that value can be monetized to the grid operators. And that is in part where some of the market reform in the electricity sector is moving, is really, let's determine what that demand response or that grid support or that ancillary service can offer to the system operator, and those attributes and those services have monetary value. And so as a customer, you can work to monetize the investment that provides, again, a monetary return to the service that you're providing onto the grid. So again, there's kind of a cumulative value associated with both solar and storage technologies that are driving customers' interests and driving an assessment and an evaluation of how it could play out in your facility. And I think that comes back again. We'll just kind of wrap it up with the real opportunity and real kind of driver for taking action is looking at your operations, looking at your data, and understanding does my facility lend itself to some form of battery storage solution? What could that battery storage solution do for me? And that's where companies like Compass and others can look at your data, evaluate each of those value streams, and provide an indication as to what your needs are, what the system's needs are, what the foresight is going to offer as far as where things are moving, and then look to ensure that you can take advantage of current opportunities, but then understand where the opportunities are going to evolve down the road.
Thank you very much for watching. That was Compass's Jim MacDougall, our president, talking more to alternative energy and solar, the current business case for both technologies here in the province of Ontario, in Canada as well. Feel free to drop me a line. I'll leave my email on the screen below, james@compassenergyconsulting.ca, and be happy to chat more, look at your facility, look at what you're consuming on a regular basis to power your operations, and see if we can reduce those costs with these on-site solutions. Thank you very much again for your time watching the video. Feel free to subscribe to our channel, and I look forward to chatting soon. Thank you. Bye.